Greetings, all. It's another Friday and another movie review. I am Jolum. This week I'm going to be reviewing No Way Out, a 1987 American action thriller, which was directed by Roger Donaldson and starring Kevin Costner, Gene Hackman, Will Patton, and Sean Young. This film is based on the 1946 novel The Big Clock by Kenneth Fearing, previously filmed as The Big Clock in 1948 and Police Python 357 in 1976. When you're done watching this video, you can go back and watch past movie review episodes. The playlist is in the description box. It is now time we go to work. 1 week ago, I reviewed a Kevin Costner movie, The Untouchables. Got some rave reviews out of it. Thank you so much for reviewing the episode. The movie No Way Out was after The Untouchables was released in June. No Way Out was released in August of 1987. Details on that in a little bit. But the screenplay is based on Kenneth Fearing's 1946 novel The Big Clock. The screenplay was written by Robert Garland. The filming took place between April and June of 1986. Exteriors were shot in locations in Baltimore, Annapolis, Arlington, and Washington, D.C., and Auckland, New Zealand. The film is dedicated to the memory of its director of photography, John Alcott, who died after principal photography had wrapped up in July of '86, over a year prior to the film's eventual release. The music in this film features original music by Academy Award-winning composer Maurice Jarre. The title song No Way Out was performed by Paul Anka. Let's begin with the plot of the movie, shall we? In the house near the Pentagon, Lieutenant Commander Tom Farrell of the Office of Naval Intelligence is under interrogation. He is asked how he came to meet Secretary of Defense David Bryce. 6 months earlier, Farrell is invited to an inaugural ball by his college buddy Scott Pritchard, who introduces him to his boss, Secretary Bryce. Farrell meets Susan Atwell, and they began an affair just before he shifts out to the Philippines. After Farrell risks his life to save a shipmate at sea, Bryce hires him to act as his eyes and ears within the CIA. Returning to Washington, D.C. for his new post, Farrell reunites with his old landlord and friend, Sam Hesselman, who works in the Pentagon's new computer center. Atwell and Farrell's affair continues, even after she reveals she is also Bryce's mistress. After they return from a romantic weekend, Bryce visits unexpectedly, forcing Farrell to slip away. Suspicious that Atwell has another lover, an enraged Bryce accidentally pushes her over an upstairs railing to her death. He goes to Pritchard, who removes all evidence of Bryce from Atwell's apartment and discovers a negative of a photograph she took of Farrell. Pritchard suggests that Atwell's other lover could be conflated with a long-rumored KGB sleeper agent codenamed Yuri, who could be implicated in her death and killed by Pritchard's operatives. Clearing Bryce from suspicion, Army CID officers search Atwell's apartment, and Pritchard plants the photo negative among the evidence, which Hesselman attempts to have enhanced by computer, a process that may take days. Realizing that Bryce killed Atwell and Pritchard is covering up the evidence, Farrell assists the bogus investigation, aware that the physical evidence makes himself the prime suspect. He and Pritchard question Atwell's friend Nina, who pretends not to recognize Farrell but reveals that she knew Atwell was seeing Bryce. Pritchard sends 2 assassins to eliminate her, but Farrell intervenes and warns Nina. Searching for real evidence to implicate Bryce, Farrell investigates a jewel box from Morocco that Bryce gave Atwell as foreign gifts registered with the State Department. Farrell has Hesselman raid the computerized registry. He later convinces Hesselman to delay the photo enhancement by confiding in him that he is the person in the photo, and that he was in love with Atwell, and that Bryce killed her. Credit card statements lead to the CID of 2 witnesses who can identify Atwell's mystery lover. One of them spots Farrell from a distance, confirming to the investigation that Yuri is inside the Pentagon. In a room-by-room search begins. Farrell informs Hesselman of Bryce's guilt and the incriminating gift, and eludes the search by climbing into a ceiling vent. Concerned, Hesselman tells Pritchard of Farrell's suspicions and his relationship with Atwell, and Pritchard shoots him dead. Pursued by Pritchard's assassins, Farrell reaches Bryce's office and confronts him with a printout of the gift's registry. Pritchard prepares to implicate Farrell as Yuri for Atwell's and Hesselman's death. But Bryce improvises a different story to buy Farrell's silence. That Pritchard, who is infatuated with Bryce, killed Atwell out of jealousy. Devastated and betrayed, Pritchard shoots himself, and Bryce tells the investigators that Pritchard was Yuri, concluding the search. Farrell sends the printout to the director of the CIA, Bryce's political rival, and leaves as the finished photograph reveals him as Atwell's lover. Sitting at Atwell's grave, Farrell is picked up by a pair of operatives and interrogated at the house. He is confronted by his landlord, revealed to be his handler. They are all Soviet agents, and Farrell actually is Yuri, a deep-cover spy raised as an American from a young age to serve as a high-level mole. Having fulfilled his mission, Farrell is warned to return to the Soviet Union, but he refuses, revealing that he genuinely loves Susan Atwell and is finished being a spy. His handler allows him to depart, believing he will eventually return, and Farrell drives away to an uncertain fate. End the movie. With a budget of $15 million to make, No Way Out was released on August 14, 1987, and it made $35.5 million at the box office. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 92% based on 48 reviews, with an average rating of 7.4 out of 10. The website's critics' consensus states, Roger Donaldson's modern spin on the dense, stylish suspense films of the 1940s features fine work from Gene Hackman and Sean Young, as well as a career-making performance that made Kevin Costner a star. On Metacritic, the film has weighted average of a score of 77 out of 100, based on 18 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. Audience polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of B+ on an A+ to F scale. Roger Ebert gave the film 4 out of 4 stars, calling it truly ingenious, and Richard Schickel of Time wrote, "Viewers who arrived at the movie 5 minutes late and leave 5 minutes early will avoid the setup and payoff of the preposterous twist that spoils this lively, intelligent remake of The Big Clock." My overall rating for this movie happens to be a 65 out of 100. As the film debuted at number 2 in the US box office after Stakeout with $4.3 million, the film's budget, again, was an estimated $15 million, and its total US gross was $35.5. Now, I may not be a fan of a lot of these international spy movies with FBI's and CIA guys and whatever the fuck. The only ones that really interest me are the James Bond movies, and they're pretty damn good in their own right. But this Kevin Costner film showed how great of an actor he was going to become, and he had a career-making performance in this one, so I plan to do more Kevin Costner film reviews in the near future.
No.